Welcome back to the OCAD Youth Sports Report. My name is Avishai Sol, and we have had another busy, beautiful week in the world of sports. Why beautiful? Because in Toronto, the sun is shining, the weather is warm, and we're all feeling a little happier because of it. Not only that, but we just had a lovely holiday known as St. Patrick's Day. Happy belated St. Patrick's Day to all of you. I hope you had a good time. I hope you stayed safe. I hope you partied just a little bit. Of course, St. Patrick's Day has a long and tepid history with sports. We have, of course, feats of strength, tests of endurance, of speed, and, of course, bare-knuckle boxing. St. Patrick's Day is always very popular among students, whether we be at OCAD or some other school. In fact, it's inspired a joke written by the great, it doesn't matter. A U of T student, an OCAD student, and a Ryerson student go walking down the street on St. Patrick's Day. The U of T student turns to the OCAD student and says, "Aren't you excited for St. Patrick's Day?" And the OCAD student says, "It's St. Patrick's Day?" And then the U of T student turns to the Ryerson student and says, "Aren't you excited for St. Patrick's Day?" And the Ryerson student says, "Yeah." And that's when they realize that the Western student is passed out 2 blocks behind them. We have a lot of great stuff in the world of sports to get to today. Let's get started. We'll start with some NBA news. In the NBA, we had a big week in the world of scoring. Karl Anthony Towns and Kyrie Irving each dropped 60 points this week. And it's not a small thing. 60 is a big number. In the tens of thousands of NBA games played, only 80 times has a player scored 60 or more points. Over the past 10 years, scoring totals has increased, leading to more big scoring games like this, which means we have more 60-plus point guys in the league today than we ever have. That's Klay Thompson, Bradley Beal, Kemba Walker, Jason Tatum, Kyrie Irving, Karl Anthony Towns, Carmelo Anthony, Stephen Curry, LeBron James have each done it once. Damian Lillard has done it 3 times, and James Harden has done it 4 times. Devin Booker's also only done it once, but he scored 70. Keeping with the basketball, but moving on to March Madness now. We're already into the first week of the tournament. We've already seen some first round upsets, namely Richmond beating Iowa, New Mexico State beating UConn. Cry, UConn fans. St. Peter's taking out the heavily favored Kentucky, and St. Mary's beating Indiana. But for my personal clientele, one man in college basketball has separated himself from the rest, and it may not be who you think. I don't know if you can tell by my aura of cold cheese and warm fish, but I'm Jewish. And my Jewish friends have been so excited because Yeshiva University's Ryan Terrell has become the first Orthodox Jewish Jew to declare for the NBA draft. Yeshiva University has been dominating their division for the past while, and the junior Terrell has made himself option for NBA teams in the spring. Though, I feel it's my obligation to tell my Hasidic friends, my Jewish friends, my Jewish family the following. There is 0 chance that Ryan Terrell is getting drafted into the NBA. I'm sure he's really good, and I'm glad that this story is existing in the world. But there's Division I basketball. That's the March Madness tournament, right? Division I. And there's Division II. The teams and players that are not quite at, right? Then there's Yeshiva University's bubble, like Division III under that. So could he maybe one day go to some other leagues, maybe in Israel, maybe Turkey or wherever, and work his way to the G League and then maybe one day do an NBA roster? Absolutely, he could maybe do that. But drafted into the NBA this year, it's not happening. Sorry, just wanted to poop on everyone's party a little bit. Moving on next, quickly to some hockey news. The NHL trade deadline is coming up this next week on Monday. When you're watching this, it will have already happened. I'm just warning you that it's happening. I'm not going to report on any trades until the deadline's passed, but it's happening. So next week's episode, we'll get to that. Next is some boxing news. We have Leigh Wood knocking out Michael Conlan in the 11th round. Big fight going the distance, and Wood taking the victory there. Moving on to some baseball news, and this is big because it's Blue Jays. The Blue Jays have acquired Matt Chapman, All-Star, 3-time Golden Glove recipient, and Defensive Player of the Year. Chapman takes the Blue Jays from a playoff team to a contending one. Now they are officially in the running for the World Series, maybe even favorites, if you dare be so bold. His defense combined with the offensive firepower and scoring of Ty Guerrero, all of a sudden, the Blue Jays may be the team to beat in the American League, making us all very happy. And finally, we have more huge news this week because guess who's back? Back again. Brady's back. Hello, Fred. Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Yes, Brady's back. Tom Brady has returned from the dead. After like a month and a half of being retired, Brady decided, nope, not done yet. Tom Brady, it's unclear if he's going to be returning to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, or there are rumors about maybe him going to the Seattle Seahawks. It's unclear. Either way, more Brady in the NFL is never a bad thing. 7 championships, MVPs, most improved players, 23 years now going. He'll be 45 this year. And this takes us to our main segment, because I want to talk a little bit about great athletes at the end. We always remember the rise of a great athlete. It's a great story, a feel-good story. A young man or woman becoming the legend and champion that they could only dream they could be. It feels good, but like anything, it goes up and then it comes back down, right? Athletes are no different. There's always an end. And when it comes to the greats, those ends are equally as dramatic as their beginnings, their peaks, and what else? Usually what ends up happening for a great athlete, an athlete who's dominated his field and his sport his whole life, is they hang on too long. Think about Muhammad Ali hurting himself in his last fights, his people rolling him out there, and we remember he got injuries, life-changing injuries in those last few fights. Michael Jordan icing his knees on the bench on the Wizards. You remember Shaq gaining weight and barely able to run up and down the floor at the end. Or Gordie Howe coming out there with silver hair and wrinkles. Great athletes give so much of themselves, their entire lives, to this one thing. It's tough to let it go. And usually what ends up happening with those greats is that they hang on too long, and it ends up becoming painful for them and for us as fans who love them and love watching them. It's tough to see Larry Bird barely able to stand because of his back. The once great players we remember reduced to the shells of their former selves. And it's not fair to critique them as human beings. But as athletes, you can't expect them to be at their peak forever. This is not necessarily to say that Brady is about to fall off a cliff. People have been talking about how Brady is going to fall off a cliff for years, and he is so far beating Father Time. Until he sucks, I'm just going to assume he's going to be good. But then on the other hand, at some point it's going to end. And it's going to be a little painful to watch, I think. You remember Peyton Manning? The year he won the Super Bowl, that last season for him, he wasn't actually that good. I don't want to see Tom Brady hang on until he hurts himself or sucks. But at the same time, it's his life, and he's still one of the greatest in the world. So I have nothing to complain about until I do. Which takes us to our last segment of the week. This week's Athlete of the Week is my friend Hannah. For a while now, Hannah's been sick, maybe with COVID, maybe with something else. We don't know. She got the rapid tests and they all tested negative, but we don't those aren't 100% foolproof or trustworthy, so we don't know. But either way, she's been trucking along, really feeling not so great, but getting better every day and introducing me to a lot of new Broadway musicals. So thanks to Hannah. You are this week's Athlete of the Week. Keep powering through. This has been the OCAD Youth Sports Report. My name is Avishai Sola, and I will see you all next week.